For centuries, various religious organizations have been focused on the construction of the Third Temple. People all across the world are excited at the fact that building on the temple has finally begun after several delays and hurdles. However, as the building advances, accounts of weird events have begun to emerge, raising suspicions and piquing the public's interest. The video investigates the mysterious events surrounding the Third Temple's building, looking into various explanations and their influence on religious beliefs and society. The concept of a Third Temple is very important to Jews, Christians, and Muslims because it represents a physical expression of their religious beliefs and serves as a focal point for worship and spiritual connection. This idea is based on the sacred history of Jerusalem, which has long been regarded as a holy city by all three main monotheistic religions. Jerusalem has enormous historical and religious significance for Jews, dating back to biblical times. According to Jewish history and holy literature, Jerusalem is the location where Abraham almost sacrificed his son Isaac and where King David built the Jewish kingdom's capital in the 10th century BCE. The first temple was built in the city during the reign of King Solomon, David's son. The building of the first temple, commonly known as Solomon's Temple, was a watershed milestone in Jewish history. It was a magnificent edifice that functioned as the Jewish people's center of devotion and sacrifice. The temple held the Ark of the Covenant, which contained the tablets of the Ten Commandments, making it a particularly hallowed location. The temple represented God's presence among the Jewish people and cemented Jerusalem's reputation as a sacred city. Unfortunately, this gorgeous structure was not built to last. In 586 BCE, the Babylonians, led by King Nebuchadnezzar, invaded Jerusalem and destroyed the first temple, taking many Jewish inhabitants into exile in Babylon. This event, known as the Babylonian Captivity, or the Babylonian Exile, was a devastating blow to the Jewish people as it led to the dispersal of their community and the loss of their central spiritual institution. The Jewish community, however, did not give up hope. During their time in exile, they maintained their religious practices and traditions and fervently awaited the day when they could return to Jerusalem and rebuild their sacred temple. This hope was eventually realized in 539 BCE when the Persians, under King Cyrus, conquered Babylonia and allowed the Jewish community to return to their homeland. Upon their return, the Jewish people embarked on the construction of the Second Temple, also known as the Temple of Zerubbabel. Although not as grand as its predecessor, the Second Temple served as a center for worship and religious observance for over 5 centuries. It was during this time that important religious figures like the prophets Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, and Ezra exerted their influence and helped shape Jewish theology and practice. The Second Temple period was marked by various significant events and transitions. In 332 BCE, Alexander the Great conquered Jerusalem, bringing Greek influence to the region. This Hellenistic period posed challenges to the Jewish community as they had to navigate their religious traditions within a Greek-dominated cultural milieu. However, they managed to preserve their religious identity and continued to offer sacrifices in the temple. Later, a conflict known as the Maccabean Revolt erupted in the 2nd century BCE, pitting the Jewish people against their Seleucid Greek rulers. This rebellion, led by the Maccabees, resulted in the rededication of the Second Temple, an event now celebrated annually as Hanukkah. These tumultuous times saw the emergence of various Jewish sects, including the Pharisees, Sadducees, and Essenes, with each their own interpretations of Jewish law and worship practices. The glory of the Second Temple was short-lived, however. In 63 BCE, the Roman general Pompey entered Jerusalem and annexed it as part of the Roman province of Judea. The Roman rule, marked by heavy taxation and oppressive measures, caused unrest among the Jewish population, leading to several uprisings. The most famous and consequential of these revolts was the Great Jewish Revolt, which broke out in 66 CE. The revolt, led by various rebel factions including the Zealots, sought to end Roman rule and establish an independent Jewish state. The Romans, under the command of General Titus, responded with force, besieging and eventually sacking Jerusalem in 70 CE. This devastating event resulted in the destruction of the Second Temple and the loss of countless lives. The temple was looted, set ablaze, and completely razed to the ground, leaving behind only the Western Wall, also known as the Wailing Wall, which still stands today as a remnant of the Second Temple. The loss of the temple had a profound impact on the Jewish community as it once again shattered their central spiritual institution and scattered them across the world. Despite these trials and tribulations, the Jewish people have maintained their faith and hope for the rebuilding of the Third Temple. This longing for a restored temple is deeply embedded in their religious traditions and rituals. For instance, during Jewish wedding ceremonies, it is customary for the groom to break a glass, symbolizing the destruction of the temple and the recognition that true joy cannot be attained until the temple is rebuilt. The idea of a third temple has also found relevance in other religious traditions, particularly Christianity and Islam. For Christians, the concept of a third temple is closely tied to their beliefs about the second coming of Jesus Christ. Some Christian interpretations of biblical prophecy suggest that the construction of a third temple in Jerusalem will be a sign of the end times and the return of Christ. Similarly, in Islamic tradition, the site where the first and second temples once stood is believed to be the location of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the third holiest site in Islam. According to Islamic belief, the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven from this site during the night journey. The significance of this location makes the idea of a third temple particularly sensitive in the context of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, as it involves competing claims and religious sensitivities. In recent decades, there have been various movements and groups advocating for the rebuilding of the Third Temple. These movements often attract wide attention and controversy due to their political and religious implications. Some proponents of the Third Temple argue that its construction is a religious duty, while others view it as a necessary step for the realization of a peaceful and harmonious world. However, the prospect of rebuilding the Third Temple is complex and faces numerous challenges. The site of the former temples is currently occupied by the Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which are considered crucial religious sites for Muslims. The tension inherent in competing claims to the site and the political dynamics of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict make any proposed construction or alteration of the area highly sensitive and politically charged. As a result, the Third Temple remains both a deeply held belief and a contentious issue. It continues to captivate the imagination and evoke strong emotions among believers in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, symbolizing the aspirations for spiritual renewal, divine presence, and an era of peace and harmony. It was a bright morning in the heart of Jerusalem as construction work on the highly anticipated Third Temple commenced. The air was filled with excitement and anticipation, but little did the construction crews know that they were about to witness a series of inexplicable events that would fill their days with unease and their nights with terror. As the workers began their tasks, their ears were met with the distant sounds of whispers and echoes. They attributed it to the hustle and bustle of the construction site, dismissing it as nothing more than the result of their own tired minds playing tricks on them. But soon, the whispers grew louder and more distinct, reaching the point where they could no longer be ignored or dismissed. Witnesses talked about hearing disembodied voices as if a multitude of beings were conversing with one another in hushed tones. Some claimed that the voices were soft and soothing, while others could only describe them as eerie and unsettling. The voices seemed to come from all directions, echoing through the hallways and corridors of the unfinished temple. While some workers tried to ignore the voices and focus on their tasks, others were unable to bear the psychological weight of the inexplicable occurrences. They requested to be transferred elsewhere, away from the haunting whispers that grew louder with each passing day. But the voices were not the only strange happenings at the construction site. Workers began to report sightings of glowing orbs and apparitions. These ethereal entities appeared for just a fleeting moment before disappearing into thin air. Some claimed that the orbs emitted a soft, warm light, while others said that they were shrouded in ominous darkness. These sightings would send shivers down the spines of those unfortunate enough to witness them, leaving them questioning their own sanity. As if the whispers and apparitions weren't enough, workers also experienced sudden drops in temperature. On a scorching summer day, they would feel an icy chill run down their spines, causing them to shiver uncontrollably. Despite there being no open windows or doors nearby, they would witness their breaths materialize in front of them. It was as if an unseen presence was manipulating the very laws of nature within the construction site. Unexplained gusts of wind soon joined the list of strange occurrences. Workers would find themselves suddenly enveloped in gusts of wind with no logical explanation for their origin. The wind would whip through the unfinished halls, dislodging papers and tools, causing chaos and confusion among the crews. They would scramble to secure their belongings, only to find them in a completely different location the next morning. Indeed, tools and equipment were frequently discovered to have been inexplicably moved or displaced overnight. Hammers would be found in the far corners of the construction site. Drills would mysteriously vanish, and ladders would seemingly shift positions without any human intervention. Some workers grew convinced that mischievous spirits were toying with them, purposefully disrupting their work and causing them frustration. As the strange occurrences continued, many workers began to question their own sanity. They would gather in groups, exchanging stories, hoping to find solace in knowing that they were not alone in their experiences. Some tried to find logical explanations for the phenomenon, blaming it on a complex network of air vents or hallucinations induced by stress. But deep down, they all knew that there was something inexplicably supernatural at play at the construction site. As the construction of the Third Temple progressed, the strange occurrences never ceased. The voices continued to echo through the halls, the orbs and apparitions continued to haunt the workers' thoughts, and the unexplained gusts of wind and displaced tools persisted. The construction crews were left to carry on their work, their spirits dampened by the eerie presence that seemed to envelop the temple grounds. Whether these strange occurrences were a result of supernatural forces, a collective hallucination, or a mere figment of imagination, they left an indelible mark on the construction of the Third Temple. The workers' experiences became the stuff of legend, whispered among locals and future generations. And as the temple stood tall and proud upon its completion, it carried with it an air of mystery, forever intertwined with the inexplicable events that plagued its construction. The construction of the Third Temple had been shrouded in mystery and intrigue, with numerous strange occurrences and architectural anomalies that had left architects and engineers perplexed. Despite meticulous planning and attention to detail, dimensions and measurements consistently deviated from the original blueprints, adding to the enigma surrounding its construction. One of the most perplexing anomalies involves the columns and walls of the temple. According to the blueprints, these architectural elements would be designed to be perfectly straight and symmetrical. However, during the construction process, it was discovered that many of these columns and walls displayed subtle twists and bends. This departure from the original plans has left experts scratching their heads, as it defies conventional construction methods and raises questions about the forces at play during the temple's construction. In addition to the twisted columns and walls, architects also came across unexpected doorways and windows that appeared in locations not specified in the original plans. This necessitated alterations to the blueprints and further added to the complexity of the construction process. The appearance of these unexpected architectural features has led to speculation that supernatural forces may be at play. These anomalies have greatly contributed to the mystique surrounding the Third Temple. Many speculate that these deviations from the original plans are not mere accidents or errors, but rather deliberate interventions by supernatural entities. Some even believe that the construction of the Third Temple is guided by celestial forces or divine intervention. The architectural anomalies of the Third Temple continue to baffle experts and captivate the imaginations of individuals worldwide. The twists and bends observed in the columns and walls, along with the unexpected doorways and windows, defy conventional wisdom and raise questions about the nature of the temple's construction. Whether these anomalies are the result of supernatural forces or unknown phenomena, they undoubtedly contribute to the mystery and allure surrounding the construction of the Third Temple. The strange happenings during the construction of the Third Temple have led researchers to put forth several theories and explanations. One theory suggests that paranormal occurrences are manifestations of divine intervention. This theory proposes that these strange happenings could be indications of approval or disapproval from a higher power regarding the construction of the temple. Another theory is that there is residual energy from the temple's past structures or historical events that is causing these strange happenings. This theory suggests that the temple holds a certain energy or aura that is released during the construction process. However, skeptics argue that these strange happenings could be attributed to mental and physical fatigue among the construction workers. They propose that long and grueling hours of work could lead to hallucinations and misinterpretations of events. Furthermore, some believe that these paranormal occurrences are part of an elaborate hoax designed to attract tourists and generate funds. This theory suggests that these strange happenings are staged or exaggerated in order to create intrigue and interest in the construction project. There are a range of theories and explanations put forth by researchers to explain the strange happenings during the construction of the Third Temple. These theories include divine intervention, residual energy, fatigue-induced hallucinations, and an elaborate hoax. Further research and investigation are necessary to determine the true cause of these strange occurrences. For religious communities eagerly anticipating the construction of the Third Temple, the occurrence of mysterious happenings surrounding the site carries profound meaning and implications. Many believers interpret these occurrences as divine signs, further confirming their belief in the holiness and significance of the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. For members of the Jewish community, these mysterious happenings are seen as a confirmation of the impending arrival of the Messiah. These signs serve to strengthen their faith in the long-awaited restoration of the temple and the ultimate redemption of their people. The miraculous events fuel hope and anticipation, deepening their conviction in the divine plan. Similarly, for Christians, these mysterious occurrences reinforce their faith in the second coming of Jesus. The signs further validate their belief that the end times are near and that the return of Christ is imminent. Christians interpret these happenings as a confirmation of biblical prophecies, solidifying their trust in their religious teachings. However, there are skeptics who worry that these phenomena may have unintended consequences. They express concerns that these mysterious happenings may undermine the public's perception of religion, leading to doubts about the authenticity of religious beliefs. Skeptics argue that such occurrences could be misconstrued and dismissed as mere coincidences or natural phenomena, thus eroding the credibility of religious claims. In a world increasingly driven by science and rationality, these skeptics fear that events considered miraculous by religious communities may face increased scrutiny and skepticism in broader society. They worry that the mysterious happenings may be seen as a call for critical examination rather than as divine signs. Overall, the construction of the Third Temple is underway, but some peculiar occurrences are taking place. Certain unusual events are happening, causing curiosity and wonder. As the temple progresses, the mysteries surrounding these happenings continue to captivate and intrigue those involved.